Hey guys, it's Alex with Ideal Sports Entertainment. If you're interested in checking out more of our content, go to idealsportsentertainment.com. But for this video, we're going to be jumping into the new NFL coaches that have been hired, the head coaches that is. And there's been four major coaches. It's Matt Rhule to the Panthers, Ron Rivera to the Redskins, Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys, and then Joe Judge to the Giants, the shocker of the group. And I'm just going to kind of break down a few of these things and give you basically just my opinion on each of the coaches, their personality with the organization they're paired with, and kind of what I think the future holds for these guys. So starting off with Matt Rhule, the Panthers, 7 years, $62 million. Clearly, David Tepper and the Panthers organization believe that Matt Rhule, who is the hot college coach as of right now, besides Lincoln Riley, but really the hot college available coach, is worth the investment, the long-term investment. And Matt Rhule clearly sold him on his vision of rebuilding or building this team to a better future. So it's really interesting to watch because of his impact at Temple and his impact at Baylor, that David Tepper and the Panthers believe, based on that resume in college, that he'll be able to he clearly sold them on this vision, first of all, that he has for the Panthers, and then he has the backing of the vision or of the resume at Temple and resume at Baylor. More recently at Baylor, going from 1-11 to 11-3 in 3 seasons. So very impressive. I personally think his personality, because he was number 1 on the New York Giants list, I think his personality in Carolina is amazing. I think the fact that they're giving him 7 years is very beneficial to not only the organization but to Matt Rhule. It takes a lot of stress off of him, and it gives him the ability to kind of tilt this team in the right direction, kind of put the pieces in place and not feel too rushed to do anything. And I think that the fact he didn't land in New York is huge, because in New York, the patience of the fans is exponentially shorter than the patience of the fans in Carolina. So I guess the really only interesting thing left, or not left, but the first interesting question for the Carolina Panthers is, what are you going to do at the quarterback? Are you going to keep Cam Newton? Are you going to move on? Are you going to keep Kyle Allen? What's that going to be? So Matt Rhule has definitely some decisions there. And speaking of the Giants, we're going to jump right into kind of the shocker of the group. Because Matt Rhule did not sign with the Giants then jump on the longtime special teams coach, Joe Judge. He was he's been in the Belichick system for the past 8 years. The last year, he was the special teams coach and the wide receivers coach, so only 1 year as a wide receiver coach. And then prior to that, he was in the Nick Saban system as a special teams assistant. So special teams guy for the better part of 11 years in the Saban and Belichick system. Clearly a proven guy, 38 years old, very well renowned amongst most of the NFL coaches and respected well. I think he is due a head coaching position. I think his position in New York is going to be a rough one, specifically because I just stated the point that the New York fan base, the media capital of the world, has a much shorter patience than everywhere else really in the United States or the world. And even though I know Joe Judge knows how to win, I don't think he'll be able to turn this system around quickly enough. It's been a struggle. I mean, you have great pieces like Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, but the ability to turn this around into a winning franchise is really going to be interesting. You have another new hiring in the same conference, the NFC East. The Washington Redskins signed Ron Rivera, so there's going to be a competition there. You have Doug Peterson, and then Mike McCarthy is also a new signing. So Doug Peterson is the oldest tenured coach in the NFC East, and it'll be a race to see who can turn around their teams the quickest. The Cowboys are most likely in the lead at this point, but Joe Judge is definitely in his own right to be able to get to the front line and make it to the playoffs sooner rather than later with the talent he has. I think that the Giants felt really rushed because they didn't get, this was really rushed by the Giants because they didn't get Matt Rhule. He signed with the Panthers. I think they felt they needed to turn around and grab Joe Judge, but it doesn't make really a lot of sense to me because he wasn't a hot commodity. He wasn't a Matt Rhule. He wasn't a Lincoln Riley. He wasn't a Mike McCarthy. So, and all of these guys, the 3 I just listed, were on the Giants list in the top 5 at least. And, you know, you have Josh McDaniels, who was also on that list. Joe Judge was on that list, but he wasn't necessarily high on that list. So, it feels really rushed on the Giants' part to kind of almost show the media, hey, we know what we're doing. We know what direction we want to go in. This is our guy right here. But I don't really understand kind of the need to keep up or kind of just show face in a way with the New York media. If you If you want to take your time and find a coach, then that's fine. If you want to take your time and interview Joe Judge and you're saying, okay, this is our guy after, 3 or 4 meetings, that's okay. But if you need to turn around, a day or two after Matt Rhule's hired and hire this guy, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So we're going to switch over to Mike McCarthy signing with the Cowboys. And I think this is a great fit. I think it's really interesting in the idea that the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, step out of their whole family, listening to Jerry, the head coach kind of style. Mike McCarthy is a very independent coach. It's almost like going out and hiring Ron Rivera, where he's not really going to sit there and wait for approval from Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy is not, and so it's really out of the character of the Cowboys, especially recently, but I think this is fantastic for them. This is exactly what they needed. They really needed an adult in the room who's experienced, who's been to the Super Bowl, who knows what it takes to win, and has been around great players and managed huge egos. So Mike McCarthy, just a refresher, he has not coached the past year. He coached the Green Bay Packers from 2006 to 2018, 13 seasons. He won 1 Super Bowl. And overall, very well-respected coach, even though that Bleacher Report article came out and hurt his reputation along with a lot of other Green Bay Packer reputations. I think he is still a very great coach, a good fit in the Cowboy world. I think it is interesting because they didn't get Urban Meyer or Lincoln Riley. I know those were the 2 big guys they wanted, and Mike McCarthy is no consolation prize. He's a first-place prize to a lot of teams, and so the Cowboys are lucky to have him. But over the next couple of years, once Lincoln Riley looks to go to the NFL, I think Jerry really has his eye on that man in OU. And so in a couple of years, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Mike McCarthy if he is successful and Lincoln Riley becomes available, because I know that's been Jerry's guy for a while. So moving on to Ron Rivera hired by the Redskins. Now, there was that video which was so strange when they announced the press conference of the Redskins, and the owner of the Redskins went up and said, first of all, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, on January 2nd. It was so strange. So just wanted to throw that out there for whatever reason. If you haven't seen the video, just go watch it. It's about a 10-second video, and it's just bizarre. So they were announcing Ron Rivera, and the owner on January 2nd decided to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Not Merry Christmas, not Happy New Year, happy Thanksgiving. So enough on that. I'd like to kind of give a brief overview of Ron Rivera. Basically, he was the head coach of the Panthers from 2011 to 2019. He was fired this past season. The Panthers fired him early in the this season. In the regular season, he was fired early so that the Panthers could get ahead and start doing the coaching wheel or the coach search. And Ron Rivera also got a head start on looking around for a different opportunity, and he landed in Washington. I think this is a tough spot. Washington has been a place of turmoil and bad reputations and a struggling franchise. Injured quarterbacks to Alex Smith, Colt McCoy, RG3. I mean, it's been a rough go about it, and they decided to get rid of Jay Gruden and move on. And Ron Rivera is, like I said when he got fired in the video that you can check out on ISC Nation, idealsportsentertainment.com. I posted a video, and it involved Ron Rivera's firing, and I said he was a pillar of stability in Carolina. And so I think that transfers to Washington, where if you're going to find somebody who's an adult, who's truly an adult, a Bill Belichick style adult, where he doesn't take slack from anybody and he does it his way, he's eternally professional and mature, and you'll never really see him sound off on anybody particular. That is Ron Rivera. So this is a good fit for an organization that has been struggling with a bad reputation. I think if you bring in somebody like Ron Rivera, who can just kind of, like I've been stressing, be the adult in the room, be the guy who puts his foot down and says, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to turn this around. We're going to move in the right direction. We're going to build this team. And I think Washington's a good spot for him because, like I've been comparing Carolina to New York, Washington to New York is a similar comparison where you're not going to have cameras everywhere on you all the time like you would in New York. I think you have some time here to truly build that reputation and make the Washington Redskins playoff contenders again. If you're interested in more videos, you can check them out, ISC Nation. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell for notifications to get notified whenever we have a new video. And the rest of our content, articles, podcasts are going to be on idealsportsentertainment.com. You can check out the podcast on SoundCloud as Sliced Apples. I am at Alex DeClaire on Twitter, and I will see you next time.